Với một người mà họ phát hiện ra họ là trầm cảm và họ cần phải chủ động làm những việc gì. Còn nếu mà người thân, đối với người thân, mình biết người thân mình đang trầm cảm thì mình nên cư xử như thế nào với người thân của mình?
Well, thank you for asking that question. Of course, that's the most important thing, right? What can we do about it now that we know that we have depression? And of course, what can we do to help a loved one if they're suffering from depression? So the basic answer is, look, it's again different for different people. Just as the symptoms of depression are different for different people, the answer or the solution depends on the person. Depends on what the actual situation is with them, and it depends on what they respond to. So there are three main areas where you can find a solution for the depression. The first one, of course, is therapy. Many people go into therapy and they find help that way. The second one is medication. And that's really important that, you know, if in fact there's a biochemical imbalance and you can be helped by medication, then don't be afraid to seek medical advice. In the same way that you would not hesitate, if you had a broken leg, you would go see the doctor. Well, depression is nothing to be ashamed of. It should be treated in the same way that any medical condition. And if the medical condition is amenable to medicine, if there's some medicine that you can take that would balance you and get you back to feeling fine again, that's certainly a good option for some people. The third area where you can find a solution for depression is, of course, self-care. And you talked a little bit about that. You said that you got out of your depression because you took care of yourself. You did yoga, you did meditation, you connected with your friends, and you had a support network. So all these things are very important for dealing with depression. And so that was the right thing to do. Is that the right thing for everybody? Well, yes and no. Some of the problems with giving advice, like, you know, go do exercise, for example, is that, yeah, the doctors will tell you, you know, one great way to fight your depression is go do exercise. Because, you know, that, again, changes your biochemistry, you know. When you're breathing deeply, as you do with yoga, with meditation, with exercise, it's a great thing, you know. We say that motion can influence your emotion. So if you're breathing deeply and you're exercise and you're healthy, well, that can really help to alleviate your depression. But what's the problem, right? One of the things about depression is that it makes you lose interest in activities, right? And you feel de-energized and you don't want to do things. And so the last thing you want to do is go out there and exercise. So that's the problem, right? It's not very good advice to say to someone, oh, you're depressed, well, just go exercise. They don't feel like doing exercise. And that's an issue, right? So one of the things that you can do is plan for it. You know that you need to exercise. So plan for it ahead of time. Schedule it. Then put that bag with your shirt and your shorts and your running shoes and your exercise equipment, get it ready to go to the gym or to go out and do swimming or to running, whatever it is. But plan ahead of time and make it easy for yourself to follow through on that. If you have kids, if you're a parent, of course, arrange for the grandparents to look after the kids or for a babysitter, or make whatever arrangements you need to do in order to give yourself the time to do that exercise. So all of these things need planning. You need to plan a way of getting better. That's the key. Now, there's another technique that's very important as well. It's just this idea of observing. Observing the fact that you have depression. Like, one of the terrible things about depression is that when it happens, you feel like it's going to be with you forever. I know that's how I felt. I went through about 5 years of quite a deep depression. And during that period of time, I felt like, oh, that's it. this is the pain that I'm going to have to live with for the rest of my life, and I'm never going to get better. You know, and so that's a horrible feeling. You know, that breeds into the hopelessness. But in fact, it's not the case. You know, people say, I am depressed, as if that's now part of their identity. I am depressed, right? But in fact, you're not the depression. The depression is not you. It's just a feeling that is with you for a prolonged period of time. But what do we know about feelings? Feelings come and feelings go. They're temporary. So your depression will stay with you for a period of time, but it's not going to be with you forever. For some people, it's just a few weeks. Some people, a few months. In my case, it was a few years, which seemed like forever. But in fact, eventually, the fog will clear and you will come out of your depression. That's exactly what happened to me. One day I woke up and just the depression was gone. I just had a totally different outlook on life. So that's an important thing to understand. This too shall pass. You have to be able to tell yourself that. You know, depression is a mood or an emotion that is prolonged, but it will pass. It's like having an unwanted visitor in your home, you know? One of your relatives comes and stays with you. You know, there's no way that you can say no to them. They're going to stay with you for a time, but they're not going to be there forever. And it might not be very pleasant while that visitor is in your home, but eventually they will leave. Same thing with your depression. Now, another thing that's very important is when you're observing the depression, don't fight against it. Because when you're resisting something, it makes it worse, you know, and you suffer more. Instead, just accept it, you know. You almost want to say, you know, it's like that unwelcome visitor. You almost want to say, oh, hello, depression. I wasn't expecting you, and I'm not really thrilled that you're here, but I accept the fact that you will be staying for a while. And then just try and use that opportunity to learn from it. You know, suffering is a very interesting thing. There's one analogy that's used in the Bible over and over again when regard to suffering. They say that suffering is like the birth pangs before childbirth. The birth pangs. You know, and that's in many ways, depression is of course it's a terrible thing and you don't want to have it. But it also can be an opportunity for self-reflection, an opportunity for growth. And although it's painful, all suffering is painful, but it is also an opportunity. It may give birth to a new person. And so these birth pangs are something that you should not fight against. You can imagine if you're pregnant and you're about to give birth, if you're resisting the pain, right? Resisting the whole process, oh, this shouldn't be happening. That's not going to be a very healthy way of approaching it. But if you accept it, understand it's part of the process, and then you give birth to a healthy, beautiful baby, that's what's happening with depression in some ways, you know. It's giving birth to a new you. So there's an opportunity to grow. And maybe the person that comes out on the other side of the depression is wiser, more in touch with their true self, more authentic. That's something that is a common experience for many people who have come through depression and gone out on the other side. They actually don't regret the experience. So all these things can help. I guess the biggest thing to remember is take care of your health. Really self-care. Try not to fight it, not resist it. Accept it. Just observe it. Remember, you are not the depression. You are not your feelings. You're not your thoughts. You're not your body. You are more than that. So sometimes when I coach people who are depressed, I ask, are you depressed? And they say, yes, I'm depressed. And I say, well, are you totally depressed? Yes, I am totally depressed. And then I'll ask them a question that helps them to reframe a little bit, to think about it differently. I'll say, well, is the part of you that notices the depression depressed? You see, that part of you that notices the depression is not the depression. And that gives you some space and allows you to maybe deal with the depression in a different way, loosens up your thinking about it. You know. And finally, remember that there are some things that you can do to help with your situation, which include, for example, being with positive people, exposing yourself to positive things. We have an expression called energy vampires. And I mean, there's some movies that you watch that suck the energy out of you. There's some people in your life that suck the energy out of you. Those are the wrong kinds of people to associate with when you're depressed. So find positive people, find friends. And as you did, find that support network, because you want to be able to connect and make sure that you stay connected with people through this illness. That will help a great deal. And finally, I know that my wife, who went through depression, was told by her therapist to watch out for HALT. HALT is an acronym. It means hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. And so what her therapist said to her was, look, if you have more than 2 of these things going on, that's a red alert. So what can you do? Make sure that you are eating regularly and that you're eating well. Make sure that you have ways to cope with anger and to de-stress. Make sure that you are connected and reaching out to your friends. Have a friend that you can count on, who will commit to you, yes, I'm there for you, okay? And so you're not lonely, you can reach out. And then make sure you're not too tired. Make sure that you're getting enough sleep and that you're getting enough rest and that you're living a balanced lifestyle. So these 4 things, the acronym of HALT, watch out for those things, because if you can control these things, then you can be in more balance, and will help you to stay balanced throughout this period until one day the depression does lift. And it always does, it always does. You shouldn't lose hope. Just be patient, don't fight it, and the depression will lift. One day the fog will clear and you'll be yourself again.
Các bạn thấy rồi đấy, trầm cảm là một vị khách không mời, không ai muốn mình bị trầm cảm cả. Tuy nhiên trầm cảm không xấu. Thậm chí có thể nói rằng nếu bạn càng thông minh, bạn càng tinh tế, bạn càng nhạy cảm, bạn luôn nỗ lực, thì thậm chí bạn có thể có nguy cơ bị trầm cảm nhiều hơn những người bình thường nữa. Tuy nhiên bạn không có đơn độc, xung quanh bạn cũng có nhiều người khác cũng đang gặp tình cảnh như bạn và họ cũng đang nỗ lực để vượt qua. Cái quan trọng mà tôi thu nhận được hôm nay đó là bạn hãy công nhận những cái cảm xúc của mình, và tôi cũng nghĩ là người thân cũng có quyền được biết và có quyền được giúp đỡ mình, đúng không nào? Chúng ta cùng mỗi ngày từng bước một sẽ vượt qua cái cảm giác này, bởi vì hãy nhớ đến một câu thần chú, ngày mai sẽ là một ngày mới. Trầm cảm nó tới được thì nó sẽ đi được, nó chỉ là một trạng thái cảm xúc thôi. Hôm nay chúng ta buồn, ngày mai chúng ta có thể vui, mọi sự đều có thể thay đổi. Quan trọng cái bài học mà từ bản thân của mình rút ra và từ những cái lời khuyên của William, tôi nhận thấy rằng là chúng ta cần chuẩn bị cho chúng ta ngay từ bây giờ, ngay từ khi mà chúng ta đang còn rất là mạnh khỏe. Đó là hãy chuẩn bị cho chúng ta những cái thói quen tốt, ví dụ như việc tập thể dục này, việc hòa mình với thiên nhiên này, trồng cây, chăm sóc hoa. Tất cả những việc đó sẽ tới một lúc nào đó, khi nó trở thành thói quen của mình, có thể một lúc nào đó nó sẽ cứu mình một lúc nào mà mình không biết. Rồi tiếp theo, như bản thân tôi, bài học của tôi là tôi có những người bạn tốt, những người bạn mà luôn luôn bên cạnh mình, luôn luôn chấp nhận mình, dù mình khóc lóc, dù mình xấu xí, dù mình tuyệt vọng, dù mình bất tài vô dụng, những người bạn đó vẫn chấp nhận mình. Đó là một cái mà thực sự là một cái điều vô cùng quý giá đối với tôi. Tôi cảm thấy an toàn khi ở bên cạnh bạn mình. Tôi có thể kể với bạn mình những cái đau khổ, những cái lỗi lầm và những cái xấu xa của mình, và tôi không cảm giác là mình bị xấu hổ. Chúng ta đừng có tập trung quá vào những điều tiêu cực, bởi vì thực sự nếu chúng ta không nói thì điều tiêu cực nó cũng ở đó rồi. Chúng ta hãy nói về những điều tốt đẹp nhiều vào, để nó dần dần nó trở thành thói quen, trở thành một nét tính cách của chúng ta, một nét tính cách mà tôi nghĩ rằng nó rất là quan trọng trong thời đại mới này. Đó là cái sự lạc quan và tin tưởng vào một cái thành mai tươi sáng. Và hơn ai hết, là một người mà đã từng trả những cái giá rất đắt về trầm cảm, là một người đã từng bước vào trầm cảm và bây giờ đang bước ra khỏi cái bóng đen của trầm cảm. Tôi nghĩ rằng là ai cũng có thể làm được điều đó. chỉ cần chúng ta tin tưởng nhau hơn và tin tưởng chính mình hơn, chúng ta cho phép mình được bộc lộ những khó khăn của mình ra và cho phép mình tin tưởng rằng người khác sẽ bao dung với chính những cái khó khăn của mình. Và thậm chí chúng ta còn tin tưởng một bước nữa rằng là thậm chí khi mà người khác không đủ bao dung, chúng ta vẫn đủ sức mạnh để ổn, và chúng ta vẫn còn có thể tìm kiếm được những sự bao dung ở những người khác nữa. Đối với tôi lúc này tiền bạc không phải là điều quan trọng nhất nữa. Đối với con tôi cũng thế, điểm số cũng không còn là quan trọng nhất nữa. Đối với gia đình tôi thì cái cuộc sống bình an ở trong tâm của mình, cái cuộc sống cái cảm giác hạnh phúc ở trong trái tim mình, đó là điều quan trọng nhất. Tôi chúc các bạn bình an và hạnh phúc.